All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Overshot, a paintball podcast. Just going to run through the sponsors real quick before we get to our very special guest here that we got. First up, been there since the day one, Dizana Sports, makers of the Grind Air gloves, the SF joggers. We're going to have some joggers coming out. We have some jerseys coming out for sale, so definitely hit them up down below. Use code Overshot for 10% off. And then a new one that we're picking up just for today, for right now, Paintball Exchange, greatest BST, greatest buy, sell, trade thing that you can ever do. So definitely
on Instagram,
follow them, like them, tell them that we sent you, and definitely reach on out to them. And without further ado, we got Brian Blaze Catania from New Jersey Bomb Squad. Coming off their fresh win. I got all the boys here in the whole picture. I got, Coach Brian. I got Miles. I got Cam. I got, Brandon Domenico, Julian Connor, the Cowboy, and Tanner and Babo. So, and shout out to Sue Kang from the he's also in there. So I missed him out. But, dude, so Brian went down to NRPL for their D3 Expo event, their first one. They had 10 teams. I know that. So kind of just walk us through that. Preparing for that and how you guys did, and walk us through the day and who else was there.
Yeah, so it was a great experience. Number one, I thought the event ran really well. So like first off, this was kind of unlike any other event for us because it was a blind layout. Obviously, like there's other leagues and other events that do blind layouts, but this is, I believe, the first event we ever played in, or at least our first serious event that had a blind layout. So we kind of had to prepare differently than we usually do. So rather than like focusing on like breaking down a layout, and this being like my first event as like a coach, I figured the biggest thing for us to do for the weeks leading up were to focus on communication, the teamwork aspects of the game, and like fundamentals, like making sure, generally speaking, like our lanes and like our 3-ball drills were like on point and stuff like that. So that was pretty much it for preparation. We like practiced a few different layouts. I tried to make sure that we were practicing on layouts that we didn't already know. So it would kind of practice us having to figure out a layout in one day and like quickly piece together like how the layout plays and like come up with like a basic play. So it was good. We went to a couple different places. We had like a practice at like Apocalypse Paintball in Hamilton, New Jersey. Yeah, Smurf Turf. It's our home field. So of course we had to practice there. And then we also went up to Long Live. And we practiced another team that played there, Gator Gang, which is pretty much like the Padres plus some other people. So shout out to them. We also practiced Leverage, who, we practice a good amount. We play against them a good amount of events. So shout out to them as well.
Perfect, man. So I see here a couple different pickups than the normal cast. I mean, was that all, because some people dropped, or I know Miles has been in and out of like, the Apocalypse program, so to speak, I would call it. And then, Sue normally, plays for the newbie. So, how did that come out to get these guys on board for this event?
Yeah, so Miles was kind of just a plan for this event from the beginning. We talked about wanting to pick up a body, and, Miles at the top of our list. He's a pretty well-known player. I hope he doesn't watch this because it's going to blow up his head bigger than it already is. But he's a pretty well-known player. Dude's a stud, I got to be honest. He's a great paintball player. So we kind of already had him on our list for people we wanted to pick up. Whether or not he's going to be on the team in the future is up in the air. We'll have to wait and see. Even I can't give you the answer to that. But Miles was pretty planned. Cam was pretty planned. Cam has been somebody who's kind of been in and out of practices with us for a long time. He's decently new to all of us. We've only known him for about a year now. But dude, he's got potential. He's got potential out the ass. And, he wants to grind and he wants to learn, and he really has that drive to get better. So this was kind of like his first event with us, like as a team. You could call it like his trial run, so to speak. He didn't do too bad, but we'll get into that later. But he's kind of like a long-term kind of thing where we're going to try to mold him and teach him everything we can pretty much. And, down the road, I feel like he's going to be a really good addition to the team. And then Sue Kang was actually a super last-minute thing. Shout out to him. Had some problems on the team, we'll call it, and somebody dropped about 4 days before the event, and already going into the event with only like 7 guys who were like, it's kind of a problem. So at the last minute we picked up Sue, who was available. He actually didn't even practice with us. I think we picked him up like the Wednesday before the event. And he killed it. I mean, I always knew Sue was a great player. I played against the newbies. I watched the newbies play. I always knew he was solid, but he killed it. And shout out to him.
No, man. I mean, that's awesome. Again, I didn't, I'm not trying to blow up Miles either, but I mean, he played, and you can kind of go into it. I mean, he played very well at the event from the, couple of matches that I watched. I mean, it looked like he was popping off and having a good day. So, I mean, who did you end up starting playing with and kind of work your way through the prelims into finally getting that, $4,000, dub?
So I would say my starting five was pretty consistent. It was Miles, Julian, Tanner, Connor, and Brandon. The only thing that I would say changed from that is Sue would switch for Tanner at times. Because slowly throughout the day, I would figure out that they both kind of had like their both strong points and weak points. So depending on what play I was running for the starting point, it would be who I would start. But most of the time, Tanner got the start, I believe. So that was my starting five. I would have on this layout specifically, you'd mostly run like two people on the snake side, two people on the Dorito side, and then you kind of have one person float over. That floater would usually go towards the Dorito side because the back Dorito guy would usually work his way at the center. So so I had Connor and Julian on the Dorito side. Julian being the front guy, the one, because I mean if you've seen this kid play, he's probably one of the best ones on the East Coast, and that's including pro players. Kid's dirty. He's fast. He's smart. His gun skills are insane. He's easily probably the best paintball player I know personally. And then I usually had Connor out behind him. Miles as like kind of like my floater in the center as the three, and then I had Brandon and Tanner, Brandon and Sue on the snake side.
Awesome, man. I mean, everything that you said and echoed about those guys, Julian, I've seen Julian play the TSXL. I've seen all these guys play the TSXL. Julian's definitely one that everybody recognizes and everybody knows that he's one of the best ballers around. Nothing to take away from anybody else on the team, but I mean, he definitely has proven time and time again. I mean, I saw him when it was I think it was Team Armageddon. I don't even think it was Apocalypse Rising yet, at his first EPL. Like, I even tried to pick him up, honestly, like, short story. But like, I tried to pick this kid up because that's how I am. I'm like, some like midget, small kid. Like, that's what we need for the snake.
Just send for the snake.
Just dude. And that's what I got now. We got this young kid Carter, dude, and that's my thing with him. And he's like,
you're 5'2" and kind of fast. Can you run to the snake and dive in? All right, cool. You're on the team.
You're on the snake. Dude, you're playing the snake, and he's like, I want to battle this dude and battle that dude. I'm like, yeah, man. When you grow another 2 feet and you fucking gain another 200 pounds, like, we'll talk about that. But right now, that ain't your spot, buddy. Like, I know you want to try to outshoot everybody, but just get down and dirty, get down in the snake, get the 1 or 2 bodies off the field and let the old dudes do that work. Let this guy do the work. I always do it. But so, I mean, who did you guys end up, facing off in the prelims?
All right, so let me think. I know our first match was against Arsenal B team. Believe that was their name. So that's like I know they had like 2, I believe, of the A team semi-pro guys on there. Actually, one of our old teammates, Nick Vanscoy, shout out to him. He was on that team, and I believe the rest was like the Arsenal guys, which is like the old RPC guys, A team RPC guys. So that was that team. I would say our first match, we definitely came out slow. If I remember correctly, they won the first point. They might have even won the first 2 points. I believe we ended up winning the match either 5-2 or 5-3. So we took it away at the end. What can I say about that match? I mean, that first match was, a grinder. I remember there was a lot going on the snake side and the Dorito side. There wasn't too much center presence yet. Both teams were breaking the snake. Both teams had aggressive Dorito side players that were flying down the field, and it was a sword fight, and that's how paintball is going to be at times. Sometimes you have those matches, which I'll get into later, like our third match, where it's just like a grinder. It's like low points scored, slow points. Everybody's looking to cross it up 5-on-5, 4-on-5, 4-on-4, and just not make the first mistake. This match was not like that. Maybe it's because it probably had something to do with like it being a blind layout and it was the first match. But both teams like essentially agreed that we're just gonna run at each other and shoot the shit out of each other, and that's exactly what happened. See, that was a great match. They actually, I think if I remember correctly, they actually didn't do too well at the event, which I mean, it's a blind layout, so things like that can happen. But I know they definitely have some killers on that team, so I was a little surprised with how they did at the event. But they gave us a pretty decent match for our first match, and it was a good warm up going into the event.
Yeah, I mean, I think, from kind of what I saw on their like Instagram, like, I don't know, it seemed like they were more about hanging out and having a good time than.
Yeah, I think I remember somebody telling me that they were drinking all day, so that would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and our boy, I know some of them dudes, like the guy Julian that plays on Ground Zero, Woods Ball, Raber, I know played, but like you said, I did see that Nick that used to play with you guys, and I hadn't seen, because that kid was a killer too, but I hadn't been seeing that kid in a while, so I think that was his first event back.
Yeah. I mean, last time I saw Nick playing paintball was, I think, Dallas 2019 when he was with A-Team D2. So this is before they went semi-pro. Yeah, I mean, there's no bad blood there. I love Nick. We're actually kind of in the works with Nick right now about possibly bringing him back onto the team. He's kind of got to figure out what exactly he wants to do. I know he was talking about possibly playing again. But, I mean, that dude's a killer. He's a super cool dude, super down to earth. He was on our team for a while. Things were going well. He ended up falling in love. He moved out to Maryland. He got married within the past year or so. So shout out to him. So yeah, he moved out to Maryland, got married. So things just didn't really work out just because of obviously how far it was. But I wouldn't say when Nick departed the team, like we ended on bad terms. So when I saw when he was playing the event with another team, it was like cool. Now we get to now I get to see him. But yeah, so that was our first match. It was just an absolute like sword fight. I believe our second match was against Destiny, if I remember correctly. So Destiny, that was an interesting match for sure. There was definitely some chaotic shit that match. I think the field slowed down a little bit because both teams, I believe, were on their second match. That was a good match. I remember there was like some crazy things that happened. I think there was like a crazy penalty that went in our favor, so that ended up helping. I think we beat them 3-2. And I remember, oh my God, I was shaking my head. I think we were tied 2-2 with them with like very little amount of time left, and we scored a quick point, and there was easily less than 20 seconds on the clock. I think I remember being about 18 seconds left. We're up by a point. I'm like, all right, guys, go lock it down for 18 seconds. We ran like our base play, which I'll get into later. And shit hit the fan. One of our players left early. One of our players got shot off the break. I think one of our players got a minor. And next thing I know, Domo, who is everybody knows Domo on Facebook. He's one of the NR guys. He was guessing with Destiny that event. I get to watch Domo just literally run down the snake side, running and gunning, blasting my whole team. I'm sitting here shitting my pants thinking that they're going to tie the game. Luckily, time just barely ran out. Shout out to Su Kang, because I remember for some reason he went to the back center at that point, even though he was not the person that was supposed to do that. But he ended up in the back center somehow, and I remember he was the last guy alive, and he traded with Domo, and he pretty much saved that match for us. Because if we had gotten a tie there, I mean, obviously things would have changed for the future, but assuming everything else stayed the same, we wouldn't have moved on. We would have been 2-1-1. So yeah, that was a crazy match. They gave us a hell of a match. We played them before. I think we played them 2019 World Cup in D3X ball. They gave us a good match there too. I think we beat them by only like 1 or 2 points. So it's always a good fight with those guys. And I think some of our guys even guessed 10-man with them too. So there's definitely no like we're cool with them. Yeah. It was kind of just one of those matches.
With Allie, they do the 10-man, right?
Yeah.
Killers, man.
I listen. Allie knows. She brings in killers for everything. ICC, scenario events, 10-man. She knows who the killers are. She brings them in. You
scenario
already know.
Killer right here, dude. Born and raised. Number 1 scenario player on the East Coast. Just saying.
All right, I don't know about that one.
Yo, dude, I'm telling you.
Listen, man, I'm on the East Coast too. All right.
Dude, I mean, you're more like a field. You're more like a field leader, like maybe like a squad commander. I wouldn't call you like
scenario
player.
I don't
pretty
even
accurate.
Serious,
I mean,
man.
I taught you a
Waldo
lot.
takes it pretty serious.
I taught you a lot, dude. Brian too, bro. You should have seen me and going off, and we'll get back to this NRPL thing. But dude, me and Brian, realistically, I was the general and Brian was the XO of that living dead one. So, whatever. We made the plans. We had to, be nice.
That is actually kind of true. I do remember that. Yeah. Shout out to Allie though for letting us do that, because I do remember us kind of taking over, which is weird too, because like I'm not that experienced with scenarios. I was kind of just telling her like, hey, like we have a bunch of speedball teams. Let's not send them out into the woods where they never play. Let's go send them out on the open areas where they're gonna go destroy people. And then,
right.
Generally speaking, that worked. So that was pretty much my input on the plan, and then Waldo just took the rest from there.
No, man, I'm pretty annoyed that there was no Living Dead this year. But you know what?
Absolutely.
We'll have to do something. We'll do it again next year.
I'm
sure
100%.
it'll be the same thing. But
yeah, same shit.
Going back in, so you beat Arsenal B team, you beat Destiny, and then what? You had 2 more matches. They did 4 prelims.
Yep, 4 prelim matches. So we were going into this 2-0, decent-ish point margin. I think we won. We won against 18 by like 3. Like I said, we won by Destiny by 1. So we had a decent point margin as well. We went in against NRG Elite Charlie. So they had come all the way from, I believe, Virginia is where they're from. So
Right.
they took a hike to get to NR. I don't know how far that is, but I know it's pretty damn far. So I kind of knew from the beginning that was going to be one of our tougher matches. NRG, their D3 line did pretty well at Vegas, or I'm sorry, not Vegas. Some NXL last year, their D3 line did pretty well. And I mean, listen, and any program that has a pro team, usually their divisional teams aren't slouches. It's just the way it goes. You know what I mean? NRG, I look at NRG similarly to how I look at like the AC Dallas / AC Diesel / Paintball Fit program. Like, dude, it's a titan. You know what I mean? Like all the teams that come out of Paintball Fit are good. Even like their D4, D5 teams, you see them podiuming in D5 5-man and D4 5-man and D4 X ball, shit like that. And I look at NRG the same way, except they're just from Virginia. They have a D2 team that does well. They have a semi-pro that does well. They have the pro team. So I knew they weren't going to be slouches, especially they're going to get mad at me for admitting this. I really hope Jordan Kohler sees this, but Jordan Kohler, who is he's ranked semi-pro. I believe he plays for the D2 line on NRG. A few of the guys on my squad watched him play at like NXL Cup or NXL Chicago last year, and we're like, yo, this kid's dirty. Like he's like super young too. He's like my age. Kid's dirty. He's super nasty. I don't think anybody wants that smoke, at least not at our age. And I remember, hearing about him, and then when I saw him on the roster for NRPL, I was like, all right, my boys just like kissed this kid's ass like 6 months ago, so there's no way this dude's a slouch. So I knew that team was gonna be solid, but they ended up beating us by 1. So that was going into our third match. Energy was pretty good. We had been running the same base play for pretty much the whole event. This was one of those layouts where you couldn't have too much variation. There was only so many spots you could realistically go to. But so we were running like our same base play, and then switching it up after the first point, depending on how the team played. But I remember they beat us in a really slow first point. I think it was 10-minute matches. I think after the first point, there was only 4 minutes left, something like that. So it was a real slow first point. They beat us. Second point. Oh, I'm sorry. At the end of the first point, one of our last player live gets a major. So we had to start down 3 the second point. And this is interesting because this is kind of like a coaching thing I feel like I've adapted pretty recently. And I hope nobody who plays this in NXL sees this. But usually when I start down 2 bodies, I don't, I think there's 2 different approaches you take. You either go to the back 3 bunkers and you hope they shoot a body or 2 off the break and they play 3-on-3 or 3-on-4. Or you do what I do and you go full send and you send them to the 50s on all 3 fronts and you just hope that a miracle point occurs. So like that's what we did at Philly last year. Wow, there's a huge wasp on my desk just staring me down right now. Do you see? I hope I can watch this video back and just see my eyeballs light up because there's a ginormous wasp just staring me down right now. I hope he doesn't start messing with me.
Hopefully
Finish that
not,
water,
man.
put him in that jar.
Yeah. Oh wait, that's a great idea actually. That's a fantastic idea. But oh, he's flying. Oh no, it's over. I'm gonna die. He's one of
Well,
those killer Asian
last word.
hornets.
His last words.
Oh no, he's flying. Yeah,
Murder
dog,
hornet.
you gotta get out of here. All right, but back to what we were talking about. Hopefully, it leaves me alone. But yeah. So the NRG match. Second point, I sent out Miles, Julian, and Tanner, I believe. No, I'm sorry, Miles, Julian, and Connor. And Julian gets shot off the break. I think Miles and Connor lived, but I had to make the decision now if I wanted to towel it and try to give my team as much time as possible to come back down 2 points, or if I wanted to see if they could win a 2-on-5. If you ask Miles and Connor, I shouldn't have blown it. But if you talk to anybody who's not named Miles or Connor, I made the right call by blowing it. I quickly blew it. They claimed they could have won it. Maybe they could have, but it was kind of just a 50-50 decision I had to make as a coach. And I realized that I'd rather, give my team the extra 20 or so seconds to come back in those 2 points rather than wait and see if they'll win a 2-on-5 from not the best positions. So concede the second point, went down 2-0. Third point, we sent out a pretty aggressive game plan. I remember sending somebody, snake off break, which is really popular on that layout. But rather than having him chill and lacrosse until we find the bodies, I kind of just told him hey, if your wire's clear, just go all the way down and see if you can get a few kills. And I believe that was Sue that I sent. And I remember it took a little bit of time. The NRG guys were really good at locking it up and slowing him down, but we ended up slowly winning that point. So we were now down by 1, so it was 1-2 with, I want to say it was about 40 seconds left on the clock. There was not much time at all. And I just remember it was pretty much a full send play. We went snake off the break. I sent Julian to the third Dorito off the break, sent Connor right up the center. 5 guns up because I knew NRG at this point. I knew them well enough to know that they were good at locking down this field already, and that if this wasp, if we didn't shoot at least one person off the break, we weren't going to be able to win the point. We weren't going to be able to run into their guns 5-on-5. So I went 5 guns up, and we ended up shooting them all and hitting the buzzer by probably 2 seconds. If you watch the webcast, I think our player was at I think our player was a couple feet further away than the back center bunker. So he probably wouldn't need another 2 seconds to hit it. So that was a tough loss. So we were going into our 4th match now 2-1. Luckily we only lost to them by 1 point. So we had a pretty decent point margin. And we were going into our last match, which was against Gator Gang, which, as I mentioned, we practiced them beforehand. It's pretty much the Padres with a couple of new faces. And that was a good match. I believe we actually ended up 4-0ing them, which was pretty surprising. We practiced them beforehand, and they were pretty solid. I think the 2 Padres players on that team was Twitch and Zach, and they also had Dave Freed. They had Colin McGuire, I think his last name is. So they had a pretty solid roster. I think we kind of just had their number. I remember we were chopping bodies off the break. We were doing a really good job of denying their snake push and getting our guy in either off break or pretty quickly. So that was a pretty good match. I think that was truthfully one of those matches where the score doesn't do justice. I think we had their number, but there was definitely some close points, some 2-on-2s, some 3-on-3s that we ended up winning that ultimately allowed us to kind of overcome them in the end. But that was our prelims. So yeah, we went out of the prelims 3-1, great point margin, and ready to go for the playoffs.
Awesome, man. So I know I keep seeing you looking around for that murder hornet, but what 4 teams ended up making it out? So it was you guys, NRG Charlie, I believe, Nasty X. Ghost Life. They won under, and then who else made it out?
302 Destroyers. So that was a Dan Del Signor's team. Shout out to him. Shout out to Christian. I know his last name has the word wood in it, but I forgot what his last name is.
Woodmessy or something. Woodmessy.
Yeah. So those are, at least Christian comes out to APOC all the time, especially for our Thursday night street balls. So I'm good friends with him. And then Dan is somebody I've known for a little bit. Oh my God, you're about to see this dude flying right next to my head. Can you see him up there? Dude,
No, I
I
can't.
hate Wasp. I hate Wasp so much.
Dude, I'm like sitting here cringing. Like,
Bro, I'm gonna start bugging out. I already know it. But especially because I can't see him now. At least before he was like on my lamp right next to me, and I could see him at least. And
Yeah.
now I lost him, and it's kind of like when you see that huge spider in your room, and then you look away for a second, you look back, it's not there anymore, and you're like, oh fuck.
dude, bugs
It's
me
like one
out.
of those
That
moments.
happened to me the other day, dude. At like 11 o'clock at night, dude. I couldn't find him till like 2 in the morning. Finally killed that motherfucker, and then I was done.
He's in the back of my room. Hopefully he stays there. Oh, never mind. He's already not staying there. Whatever. Give me a shout if you see him. But
yeah. Watch out!
yeah, incoming. But yeah. So 4 teams moved on. It was us, Ghost Light, Energy Charlie, who we played in the prelims, and 302 Destroyers, and we played Ghost Light first rounds. This was the semis, and I mean I think that was very similar to the Padres or the Gator Buds Gator Buds match where I think we did end up mercy ruling them, or it might have been 4-1, but the score doesn't do justice. You know, we played Nasty X or Ghost Life a few times. Then we played them at one of the TSXL events or something like that. And I mean, they're solid guys. They won a bunch of events in D4 2 years ago. I think was their D4 year. And listen, people always will say like this, that, and the third. Like, hey, you know, they had it easy that year. You know, some people say like that year in D4 was like kind of a joke. Like there wasn't that good of teams. But you know, to the people who say that, you're not gonna win an NXL being a slouch. You know, sometimes people do have it easier than others. Sometimes there's divisions that there's not as many good teams that year. But regardless, there's good teams in every division of the NXL every single year, more or less.
Right.
So I knew those guys weren't gonna be slouches, and I'd been watching them a little bit before the event, and I knew that I was kind of scouting them a little bit, and I knew that they were pretty solid. They were playing very similar to like Energy Charlie, where they were kind of just looking to lock up the field, which is what a lot of teams were doing that day. And yes, we went to that that playoff match, and we were like, you know, we got to bring our A game from here on out, or else it's win or go home at this point. That was an interesting match. I believe that match actually had another really slow first point. This time we actually won that point. And then I want to say for the next few points, it was similar to the Gator Buds match where we were just able to chop bodies off the break. We had like 1 to 2 kills off the break every single point. For the most part, we were able to stay like 5 alive, sometimes only losing like our snake guy off the break. And we were kind of just able to force them to play into our game, which I think helped us a lot. And we came out on top of that match. But definitely shout out to those guys because they're a good team. They're definitely no slouches. So
They got a good program for sure.
Oh yeah, the Nasty program for sure.
So bring us home, man. Bring us to this finals action, man.
Yeah. So I as soon as we played NRG in the prelims, I'm like, all right, so that's who we're playing in the finals. So I made sure to watch them a bit more, see if I could figure out anything different that they might have been bringing to the table, because I knew we were going to play them again in the playoffs. I didn't think there was any other team there that really had like a decent shot at beating us besides them. So I knew as long as we didn't do anything stupid, we were going to see them in the finals. So I was pretty prepared for that. But yes, we rematched against NRG Charlie in the playoffs. It's amazing how little I can remember about this match. I know we beat them by 1 point. I want to say the final score was 3-2, maybe 2-1. I remember there was a really slow first point. This one we actually came out on top of. So I remember going up 1-0 against them, and it was like decently limited time left again. I think it was about 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5. I remember sending out a play to try to get them to slow it down. I was hoping what I was going to be able to do was get us into a 4-on-4 or 5-on-4, a tied bodied or a slightly up body situation, and we could just run the clock down, force them to concede with a limited amount of time, and be up 2-0 with a minute or a minute and a half left. That was kind of the game plan. And if I remember correctly, Jordan Kohler, however you say his name, was on the Doritos side that match, and he made like an amazing move and broke open a point, and they won that point. I want to say they won the point with 18 seconds left. So it was tied 1-1 with 18 seconds left. And when we were down a point against them in the prelims, my guys were like, "Yo, fuck this. Let's go run down the field." And they honestly kind of wanted to do it again. And I was like, all right, guys, like this isn't the prelims anymore. Like this is the playoffs. It's only 18 seconds. And I was like, I don't know if I like that. We discussed it a little bit more. And the team ultimately agreed what we were gonna do is we were just gonna go heavy guns up, and we were gonna send like one person on a risky move. And what we were just gonna hope is if that guy makes it and we shoot a body or two off the break, then we try to win the point. And if we lose that guy and we don't shoot anybody off the break, worst at worst, we have to play 4-on-5 for 18 seconds. And I trusted them. My guys could hold that off. And then exactly what I thought NRG was gonna do, they did the exact opposite. They didn't look. I thought they were gonna try to lock it up and bring it into overtime, do like a similar game plan as us. They did the exact opposite. They tried to take the 50 snake, the 50 Dorito. They went heavy up the center, and I think we shot 4 guys off the break. So we ended up scoring that point with 10 seconds left. I'm sorry. I think I might have had the time wrong. I think we had about 30 seconds left before that third point, and I think we won it with 18 seconds left. So there's actually 18 seconds left going into the final point of the final match. Up by 1 point, just needed to hold it off. Honestly, it was a gift that they tried to run a play like that. According to their coach and a couple of their players, they apparently didn't know that there was a prize, which sounds kind of crazy to believe, but if you saw how they were talking about it, I almost kind of believed them.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but like those announcing dudes were like, "What the?"
Yeah, I heard they were getting
roasted.
roasted. Yeah, they yeah. After the match, they said that they never would have done that if they knew 4K was the first place prize. I don't know how you play an event without knowing what the prizes are. I feel like at least like maybe like us like New Jersey teams are kind of just like scumbags who want to win money. But like I feel like the first thing we look at an event is the prizes. Like we base whether or not we're gonna play.
Up $1,000 entry, right? Because the entry was $1,000, right?
Yeah.
When you're giving up $1,000 entry,
you want a prize.
There should be a prize. Like I'm like, you know what I mean? This isn't the pro invitational or whatever the fuck they thought. Was that what like, they were trying to like scheme it as? Like, yo, it's like the pro invitational. Like everybody gets a fucking cookie and a handshake.
Yeah, I have no idea, but yeah. So we just had to hold them off for 18 seconds, and we did it. Spoiler alert: we won the event.
So you didn't see in the picture.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell by the picture.
I mean, my head's in the way of, but you can see it.
Yeah, you're actually covering up the placement. That could have been third place. It could have been second place. Who knows?
No, by that big trophy, that's definitely first, and those are gold medals, dude.
That's true. Yeah, there you go.
So was this your first event as a coach? I mean, I know you've always helped your guys. I know you've always been a part of the program. I've heard on other podcasts that you're a really good pod runner and you steal a lot of pods. So, I mean, was this your first event as a coach or officially?
Yeah. I would say officially, yeah. If you ask anybody who knows me in paintball, they'll tell you, and this is just me being honest about myself. I think I'm really smart. At least in paintball wise, I think I have a really good understanding of the game. And I don't know what it is, but at least this far in my paintball career, I just have trouble applying it when I'm playing. I just feel like I don't know if I just get really bad tunnel vision or if the pressure gets to me, but I feel like I can't think clearly when I'm on the field, and I think I'm kind of known for that at this point, being a much smarter player than I show when I'm out on the field. So I've always been kind of somebody who would help our coach, Bebo, Elvin, Colin. So I'd always helped him, but this was my first event as the official coach. So to answer your question, yes, this was my first event as the coach. Yes, you're right about the pod running. Shout out to Jeff Stein. Shout out to New England Hurricanes. Shout out to, Colorado Blitz, all the teams I run pods for. And my pod running is a completely different conversation that maybe we can have later. But well, I ranked D3, but ask anybody, my pod running, I'm ranked pro. There's nobody better in the industry. But yeah, that was my first event as a coach. It was a great experience. I get to tell people, if I never coach another event, I can tell people the only event I ever coached, we won. So Hopefully, I
Dude,
just don't
retire,
coach
dude,
anymore.
retire.
Yeah, retire on a win.
I was able to say that a couple times, and then stuff happens, or whatever.
And you get drawn back into it.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Like with these kids, I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna do it again, and then I do it, and I actually had a good run. Like I bring this kid from out of the dead, so to speak, every couple of years. He's like, yeah, dude, every time I've ever played for you, we've podium, and brought him out, and we got a 4th place at EPL. So,
oh damn,
ruin that streak, dude.
Yeah, off topic, but do you see me like bugging out a little bit? Like I keep like touching my shoulders, thinking I feel the wasp
I don't
landing
want
on
to say
me.
anything to you, dude. I didn't want to say nothing to you. I was
Yeah,
like,
I've been like going like this or
blinding
like
his shirt.
yeah. Dude, I swear I keep feeling something like land on my shoulder and stuff, and I'm like, dude, I hate wasp. Only thing I hate more than wasp are snakes. You can't trust snakes, dude.
Bro, I hate snakes.
Dude,
Yo.
like, bro, I just stuck my arm in a little bit of spilled water on my desk, and I spazzed out, bro.
I thought it was a hornet, dude.
I really thought it was a hornet landing on me. I do not like wasps, dude. Anything, I think it's weird. Like people have asked me about this before. I swear to God, I fear like snakes and wasp and like alligators more than I fear like bears and like other much more threatening things. And I think the thing about it is you never see them coming. Like they're all like, I mean, not so much wasps, but like snakes and alligators, they just sit there and they just wait until you don't see them and you walk up on them and they clap you, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But as like a bear though, like I feel like if a bear's gonna maul my ass, he's gonna like growl when he's half a mile away and he's just I'm gonna know
I
I'm
got
fucked.
time. I got
You
time.
know what I mean? Like I got
Yeah.
like 5 minutes to accept the fact that I'm fucked before that thing gets to me and kills me. You know what I mean? But with like a snake, you're just walking through the woods one day and
Bang.
hopefully, yeah, bang, your life's over. That's it.
Dude,
But
hopefully none of these teams that are versing you see this and stick a snake in your gear bag or something.
dude, it would be over. Absolutely over. I have like a childhood story that my mom loves to talk about where here in New Jersey we don't have any like super crazy snakes. We just have like the garden snakes and
Yeah.
they're like super like not threatening at all. Apparently when I was like 11 or 12 years old, I was walking through my driveway and I'd stepped right next to a garden snake, a real small garden snake, and it didn't even move. And apparently when I looked down and saw it, my first reaction is I curb stomped the shit out of that thing. At least that's the way my mom tells it. So yeah, dude, like eradicate them all. They can all go.
Eradicate them all,
If it messes up the food chain and we all go extinct because of it, so be it. But like they gotta wipe them out.
That's my shit with like with flies, dude.
Yeah.
Like anything like that. Like that's my shit with flies, or even like you're saying like bees. I get it, honey, pollination and whatever.
No, honeys are
Wasps
different.
don't do that.
Yeah, honeys are different. Or I'm sorry, not honeys. Bees are different because they actually have like some sort of benefit. Tell me one good thing wasps do for the environment.
Nothing.
Nothing. And not only that, but wasps are known to like unprovokedly sting people. Like they'll just land on you and be like, "Hey, fuck you," and they'll just sting you. Am I allowed to curse on this? I should ask.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, they'll just
tag, dude. We'll be all right.
Yeah, they'll just land on you and tell you to go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Whereas bees, like I feel like if you leave them alone, they leave you alone, kind of thing. But like this wasp, I'm waiting for him to just land on me and be like, "Hey, you're live on a podcast right now. Go fuck yourself. Here's a sting."
Yeah, exactly.
You spaz out, dude. That'd be top five moments on the podcast. one of them out. Falling asleep on episodes.
That's so funny.
That's cool. And so, are you guys have any aspirations to go in the World Cup? I know that it's like I guess officially a go.
Me personally, no. I got I hope I don't start like a war in the comment section about COVID. But me personally, like I know if I get COVID, I'll probably be okay. Obviously it's not ideal, but I think I'll survive. I can't say the same thing about my 60-year-old parents. So I made like a personal decision that I don't want to risk me getting it and bringing it back to them and something, awful happening just to go to a paintball event. So I already told my team, I'm like, listen, guys, sorry, I'm not going to be in attendance. But that's just me.
Totally understandable. Totally understandable. But is Bomb Squad going?
Solid question. Couldn't give you the answer to that one. I know most of the guys are trying to go, so you'll probably see us there in one way or another. At the absolute least, you'll see us probably guessing with other teams. But I have a solid feeling that they'll have a line. They'll have a line that goes.
Well, you know, going off of that, I saw Blount and the boys was registered for 10-man. So I mean, is that a thing too? Or I mean,
it might be.
Normally they play with the fucking Destiny Army with Allie, and they do pretty well. So I mean, if I was those cats, I mean, Allie's the queen of the 10-man NXL. You know, you want to talk about, you know, the 10-man NXL or the 5-man mechanical, then you know,
Allie's your girl.
That's how you want to play with.
Yeah.
You know, you might want to find someone else to play with, but anything else, those two categories, she's got the bling bling rings. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, rings on rings on rings. But yeah, that's a good question. I think I do remember seeing that. I mean, it's Ace. He's always scheming something. I'm surprised he didn't sign up Blount and the boys for like semi-pro. Honestly,
I'm waiting for that one.
Yeah, because he's always. Yeah, I have my Blount and the boys jersey somewhere in the background. I think if I turn my computer a little bit, you might see it right there.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. I heard they're going for $75 a piece.
Dude, they are. And I wish I could sell mine, but I think Ace would kill me. Those jerseys are hot. They're pretty fire, I'm not gonna lie. So it doesn't surprise me that they're going for that much. Shout out to Dizana. I believe Dizana made them. They're super good quality. Dizana's a great company. There you go. See, you got to plug. You got to plug. Yeah. While we're plugging, shout out to PBX, Paintball Exchange on Instagram. #1 BST on Instagram if you want to sell your gear.
Hell yeah, get out my dude, though. Get your gear sold.
Dude, he's got everything you want, dude. I mean, I don't know. He helped me get some bio, so dude.
That's true. I did hook him up. Yeah, if you ever need, hit me up. But yeah, I mean, we'll be there one way or another. Just don't know. And it's gonna be a 10-man team. Might be guessing with a bunch of different teams. Might be a semi-pro team. You never know, honestly.
Yeah.
Some crazy shit might happen.
So what's your guys' any plans of you guys gonna stay D3 next year? You guys gonna bump up to D2, or because the whole way this year happened, you know, you played some events, you don't play some events, and I mean, are you now the coach? Is that now your role, or?
That's a good question that like I couldn't even tell you the answer to. I don't really know. I had to step away from playing for a little bit just to figure out some personal issues. They're just about figured out at this point. Might take a little bit more time off just to, you know, make sure I'm 100% before I get back to playing. But I really enjoyed coaching, and I think, you know, it's something that I'm well suited for. I think it kind of does play into my strengths a little bit, but I miss playing. Like I was just telling people today, like I haven't played paintball in like months, and I'm like about to buy a CS2 because I want to start playing again. So I don't really know. You know, that's a solid question. If you ask Jeff Stein, he'll say no because he knows if I start coaching, that means the end of my pod running days. If you ask my team, they'll tell you no because they want me to keep coaching. And if you ask me, I'll say maybe because I might. We'll see. But I do want to start playing again in some shape or form. Maybe I'll just be like one of those piece of shits who plays, you know, sandbags EPL for the rest of my paintball career, and I'll coach teams for the rest of it.
So with that, you know, was that a stab at anybody at you know, sandbagging EPL the rest of your career?
Bro,
like the Northeast way.
I mean, yeah, that's not even
I'm
like.
throw it out there. I heard through the grapevine that an entire team of people that are not D4 might get reclassified to play East Coast Cup, but I don't know. I heard that through the grapevine. I don't know if anybody else heard that.
I don't know. I know EPL does reclass people. I hope that they're not doing that. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say. I mean, listen, EPL's got its flaws. It 110% does. But I have an enormous amount of respect for Big E and Chad. I think they've built something. You know, I look at EPL the same way I look at like Mason's Paintball on Facebook, which he's like the biggest used gun seller website on Facebook. Yeah. And it's kind of like a lot of people hate him because they wish they were doing what he's doing. Like I know, you know, there's like a reselling community, which I don't know if we mentioned this yet, but I like resell paintball gear. But there's a little bit of like a reselling community on Facebook. And I always hear like the smaller resellers like talking shit about Masons because, you know, a CS2 that's worth 900, he sells for 1200. And it's like, you don't hate him because he's a bad person. You hate him because he does what we wish we could do. Like I wish I could
Right.
have 150 guns in inventory and, you know, sell used guns for like pretty good, like really good profit margins and, you know, get great trade in, have like a great trade in program. Same thing with EPL. Yeah, EPL has its flaws, just like everything else.
Right.
But other leagues hate EPL because they wish they could have 35 teams for their D4 5-man. You know what I mean?
Right.
That will come back every single event. You know what I mean? So EPL's a huge league. It's been a huge league since I started playing paintball, and it'll probably continue to be a big league for a while. So I have, you know, a pretty enormous amount of respect for them because I think they do what a lot of paintball leagues wish they could do. And I think they just gotta continue to work out the kinks with their league and just keep improving.
So as someone that is, you know, you've have ref some tournaments now, you know, kind of speaking on that end of the thing. So, you know, it seems like you're all about it. You're buy, sell, trading, you're coaching, you're reffing, you're pod running. I mean, you're just all about it, man. Is this something you eat, sleep, and breathe? Or, I mean, do you have any other hobbies or anything?
Sure. There's actually I play paintball for college too. Shout out to Rutgers paintball team. And there's like a joke on my paintball team, on my Rutgers paintball team, that if you could like look up somebody's like personality traits and it would like on Google and it would show you like their personality traits and you looked me up, you would just see the word paintball copy and pasted about 100 times. Yeah, I honestly, if I'm being real, I do eat, sleep, breathe paintball. Paintball has been a part of my life for almost 10 years now, if not actually almost exactly 10 years now. It all started with my mom seeing
When you were 3?
I'm 19.
Oh, all right. I got you.
Yeah, no, I definitely look young. But I mean, yeah, paintball has been a part of my life for a huge amount of time now. It's all started with my mom seeing an ad in the newspaper for a local summer camp that ran like a paintball program once every 2 weeks. And, you know, since the first time I picked up a paintball gun until now, I think I've been in love with it. And, you know, it's the thing about paintball has influenced probably every single part of my life in like the best way possible. I've learned so much about myself and so much about life, so much about sports and being on a team, so much about finances and being smart with your money, because that's definitely something you need to be in paintball. You know, like people always say, like, if you want to become like a millionaire playing paintball, you have to start being a billionaire.
Right. Yeah.
Because paintball will just kill you financially, especially if you're an idiot like me who makes bad decisions. But yeah, I mean, paintball's taught me a lot about life. It's my everything. You know what I mean? When I'm not playing, I'm coaching or I'm reffing, I'm pod running, I'm selling stuff on Facebook. Yeah, I mean, I just, you know, like people can say what they want about it, but I think being passionate about something, you know, is something that not everybody gets. Like I think it's a blessing to find something in your life that, you know, you never get sick of. And I mean, who knows? I could get sick of it down the road. But yeah, no, for sure I do like eat, sleep, and breathe paintball, if I'm being honest.
Dude, I mean, I can't say that I don't, dude. You know what I mean, dude? You know what I mean? Like I said, run lease podcast, coach kids. I suck at playing, so I do all that other shit. You know what I mean?
Same here.
Those that can't do teach, and those that can't teach gym or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I think that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? For sure, dude. So, you know, kind of going base. You know, I know you found paintball through a flyer and everything like that. You know, we're kind of like reverse engineering. Usually we start with that, but so that's how you got into paintball, by seeing a flyer. What was that field that you first played at, and what was that first experience like?
Yeah, so I was technically 9.5, but if insurance companies ask, I was 10. My mom. Well, let me start from the beginning, I guess. Growing up, I grew up in a neighborhood with like a bunch of like boys my age, and we would run around the neighborhood and each other's houses, shooting each other with Nerf guns. We'd have Nerf wars like every other young kid. So you know, just like as bad as it probably sounds, like running around shooting my friends with guns as something I've been doing for like years and years and years now. And when I turned 9.5, when I was about 9.5, I should say, my mom saw a newspaper ad for EHT PAL, so it's the Egg Harbor Township Police Athletic League. They ran like a little like rec ball field on one of their summer camp sites. It was like once every 2 weeks. It was run by like a really nice dude named Ed, who I still talk to every now and then to this day. And it was on Sundays. They had like 30 or 40 Tippmann 98 rentals. They were still using CO2. It was Vulcan Infinity paint. Like, it was like the most like basic paintball field you'd probably ever see in your life. And I fell in love with it. You know what I mean? Like, I remember the first time I played, I got back. I'm like, Mom, like, I need a paintball gun. Buy me a paintball gun. And I was like super blessed that like one of my dad's friends one morning, I'll never forget, drove in front of my house, and I was like getting ready to leave my house for school in the morning. And he walks in with like a little like rifle bag, like a real gun, like rifle bag. And he's like, hey, Blaze, my dad's name. He's like, I got a paintball gun for your son. It's one of my son's old ones. I heard he's getting into it. He can have it. It was like not even a Tippmann 98. It was a Tippmann model 98. It said like model 98 on the side of it, which I believe is like it's the same thing as a regular 98, but this was like an old school one. You know what I mean? And dude, I just remember my eyes lighting up. I like told my dad, like, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I ain't going to school today. Like, I hate to break it to you. And that didn't go over too well with him. I eventually got forced into going to school. But I remember like just waiting for the school day to be over. I'm like, I want to go look at my paintball gun. I want to go touch my paintball gun. So yeah, and then from there, I bought like a few more guns, bought some really shitty guns that I regret buying, just like every other paintball player. I played at PAL for like years and years and years. Eventually, like in like 6th grade. So what is this, when I'm like 12 or 13? I ended up having like a kid in my class who ended up also playing paintball. He introduced me to some of the other fields in the area, which is like Gear Up and Paintball Invasion at the time, which is now Apocalypse. And then I slowly got into speedball. Then played rec ball for a little bit longer, and then eventually when I was about like 14, 15, I heard about how Apocalypse Paintball, which was a shop in Vineland originally, the owner Hector was buying Paintball Invasion and transforming it into like a premier speedball field. And I remember that first year I really wanted to try it out, but like the finances weren't there, because obviously I was like a 15-year-old kid. Like, I wasn't paying for most of that stuff. Like, I was paying for my gear, and I would like split the cost with my parents for paint. But like in terms of like tournaments, like there was no realistic way I was gonna be able to pay for it. So my parents were gonna pay for it, and the finances weren't there at the time. So the first year I remember I had to not be a part of the program, and then that second year got the money together, made a deal with my parents, and ended up trying out for the Apocalypse program at the time, which was called Apocalypse Rising.
Awesome, man. So what was your first tournament like?
Oh man, like, dude, we're going down the rabbit hole right now. I have like, it's crazy because like I can't remember shit from the NR event, but I will remember my first couple events so vividly, even though they're like 4 or 5 years ago. So my first event was like the Garden State Open. This was 2016 or 2015, I forget which year, but it was EPL Garden State Open, D5 5-man, Apocalypse Rising Purple. It was me, this dude Kyle Pigeon, who like a couple people know him, Jordan Bond, who is now on New Jersey Riot, so shout out to them. And then Junior Lopez, who plays for Bomb Squad Pandemic, shout out to him. A kid, this really short kid named Matt, who I really should call him and catch up with him. He was a cool dude. But I brought him over. Like, me and him like got involved with speedball at the same time. Like, we were like rec ball buddies, who then became like tournament player buddies, if that makes sense. And we were teammates for a while. And dude, my first event was awesome. I remember like it was probably like, I'm definitely better than I was now, but that was probably the best event I've ever had. I just remember like destroying people in D5. And I remember people thinking like I was going to be like an amazing player, like people that were part of my program. And then that just didn't happen. But I just remember like having like an absolute like stud of like a first event. and went on to play EPL for the rest of the year that year. Did pretty decent. I think we podiumed a few times. Second year, got moved up to the Apocalypse Rising White line, which was our premier D4 X ball line at the time. This was like Miles Carter, Julian Torres, Bebo, who at the time was a player, and like a few other people. They brought up me and Tanner, actually. Tanner was a part of another one of the D5 Apocalypse lines. And they brought us both up, and that was the first year that NXL came to New Jersey. This was the Atlantic City Open in 2017. That was, all of our first NXL events. I think I remember us doing pretty decent. We like made playoffs and like lost the first round to like the team that won the event. I believe it was like Wrecking Crew, who they're still around today.
Wrecking Crew, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean that was a crazy year. That was my first year of NXLs. I remember like some shit happened that year, so like my season got cut to a close like right after AC, so I like barely played that year. Then the next year, Apocalypse Rising White fell apart after they played Cup, and I actually ended up going to the newbies. This is a famous story. I was on the newbies for about 3 weeks. I went to the newbies in like mid-December. I joined, went to 3 weeks worth of practice. And then right after I went to the newbies, Tanner and Julian, who were on Revo 3 for about 3 weeks, left Revo 3 and we're like, fuck this. We're going to go start a new team at Apocalypse. And they let me know. And I was like, okay, fuck this. I'm going to go join this new team at Apocalypse. Shout out to newbies, though. They were super welcoming. But like, the way I explain it is, it's not that I wasn't happy on the newbies, but would you rather play paintball with a bunch of strangers, or would you rather play paintball with all your friends?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that ended up being like a great decision. I learned so much from joining Bomb Squad, and we all grew as players together. And, most of us are still together to this day. A couple new faces, a couple old faces aren't around anymore, but if the core of the team, I would say, is still the same. So we all kind of just grew as a team together.
And you guys did pretty. I mean, I think it was Dallas that year. You guys did pretty well. You guys had a pretty good run that year, right?
Yeah, so that was our first year together. It was D4, so we were playing D4 Expo in the NXL. We played Texas. We got third, so that was podiuming, our first NXL as a team, our first event as a team. Had high hopes. AC 2018 was the next event for us. Excuse me, played that event. Ended up getting fourth. I remember we lost to a team RBC in the semifinals. They actually had like a crazy comeback and beat us with like 2 seconds left on the clock. That was like a heartbreaking loss that I think all of the Bomb Squad guys like still kind of shed a tear whenever you bring it up. Luckily RBC changed their name, so we don't need to hear that name anymore. But because it brings back like PTSD. But yeah, so we did pretty decent that year. We moved on. We played like a local event, won that, went on and played Cup, and I think we got like 6th out of like 70 teams, which it was technically our worst showing, but it's Cup.
It's a lot harder, dude. It's a lot harder.
It's a lot harder to do well at Cup. Yeah, it was. I'll take. Actually, I don't know. I was gonna say I'll take 6th out of 70, then 3rd out of 18 any day, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. I kind of like podiuming.
Yeah.
But,
maybe a 4th to a 6th. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe like a 4th to a 6th, not a 3rd. No.
Yeah. Nah, podium's a podium. Fuck that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that year was a crazy year. I don't think any of us expected to really do that well. The name Bomb Squad actually was created because the team was essentially made up of like, I don't want to say like all the star players from like the local area, but it was like a lot of like the good talent in the local area like kind of coming together. So Nick Vanscoy, who I mentioned before, actually came up with that name, the Bomb Squad name, and then it stuck. And then played D3 the next year, played very few events, did decent, made Sunday a few times, but weren't really able to put it together. And then our second year in D3 brings us to here where we played Vegas. I believe we had 11th in Vegas, made Sunday again. Pretty much got. No, I don't want to say that. I might piss some people off in the industry by saying that. But let's just say there were some things out of our control. Paint that costed us our Sunday appearance, or costed us from moving on passed the first round on
Foul
Sunday.
play.
No, it was just the paint was not good. I'm not gonna say what company it was. I don't want to piss anybody off, but you could probably just look it up and see who our paint sponsor was at the time. But yeah, dude, the paint was horrible. I remember a Sunday.
Yeah.
First point, literally I watched 5 guns go off the box and just flamethrower, and I'm like, all right, this is gonna be a not so good match.
Dude, you got to do, get the other paint and then.
Oh no, but none of the. Oh, you're talking about switching the bags. That's what we should have
Yeah.
done.
I'm not done. I'm not, yeah, basically.
Oh, that's what we should have done. Instead, we tested like 5 batches and they all sucked. And we were like, we think this one sucks the least. Let's go with this one. And then we ended up being wrong. They just all sucked. Which, that was like the story I heard from every single team that shot that paint at that event. It was pretty horrendous, but I have faith that the company moving forward is gonna
Do you right.
do us right and work on not making the same mistake, which, that's all you can really ask for. Mistakes happen. It sucks.
Absolutely.
But it costed us what it costed us, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So now with that being said, we're at that hour mark trying to wrap things up. I'm going to give you time to do all your sponsors and everything like that. But one last, question of mine is, what has been your favorite paintball event / memory of all time? Or, I mean, is it that Dallas? Is it playing ICC with your boys on Colorado Blitz? Is it being a scenario nerd and like lighting people up at the Living Dead? Like what was your favorite paintball moment?
Wow.
Or you can give a couple if I'm.
Can I give a couple?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like playing with Colorado Blitz at ICC last year was definitely one of them. That was a blast. Shout out to those guys. Got a lot of love for those guys. But that was definitely one of them. Living Dead was a ton of fun. I love.
I might have beat you at ICC. I don't know if we played them last year, or the year before. I played on the Ground Zero team.
You did beat us. You did.
I'm gonna say that it might have been 2 years ago. Years blend together. All right, cool.
No, dude. You want to know why though? I think I remember that because I told you, I was like, yo, you gotta watch out for this team Colorado Blitz. They're not slouches. I think you played them on Hyperball too, if I remember right.
We did play them on Hyper.
All right, since we're going into this, I actually, if I'm gonna be honest, we played you guys the first point. I remember this shit, and I remember saying like, this is a bunch of like older guys who like don't play tournaments. Like they might whoop our ass if we played them in the woods, but like this is Hyperball. Like this is basically.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
I'm like, this is basically like our home turf. Like we should definitely kick their asses. And I remember us getting our cheeks clapped. It was they gave us the work. I remember that pretty vividly. Yeah, we got the sauce.
So Rosie gave a pretty good rah-rah speech because that's what he was saying. He's like, yo, these guys think they're going to own us in here. We're not going to let that happen. We're going to give it to them. Let's go, hands in. We were fucking fired up, dude.
You definitely did. I remember that. But that's definitely one of my memories. I remember World Cup 2018. I had a really good match on Saturday because this is playoffs started on Saturday. I had a great match against Palm Beach Vipers kids. Where like, I mean, listen, I don't toot my own horn very much, but I think it was a 4-0 win. I think every single point I had at least like a 2 or a 3 pack. Like it was just, I don't know what it was about that match. Maybe it was just like the stars aligned, but I just remember having like a really great match. That was a great memory. Podiuming in Dallas was a great memory. Vegas was probably my favorite event though. Vegas this year. That was our first time going to Vegas. The venue at Vegas is beautiful. The weather was beautiful. I think we're gonna go there from now on over Dallas if we have to pick between one of them because Dallas is always a shit show. Yeah, dude, Vegas was beautiful. It was amazing. We went to the Strip. It was a super good time. But yeah, that's definitely got to be, something like what is that? My top 3 or my top 4, however many I said.
Yeah. All right, cool. I got one more too before we head out. So, what was your first big boy gun? I know you said you started with the Model 98, but what was like your first like real gun?
Dude, Model 98 is real as hell, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's
battle tested, dude.
Yeah,
you started with an Ether, dude. Doesn't mean don't knock. I started out with a 98 custom, so
there's actually like a pretty. I'll try to make this quick because I know we're going over a time limit a little bit, but there's actually a pretty cool story behind this. So I got the Model 98. About a year later, I get a Tippmann Alpha Black, which that was a horrible mistake because, like, imagine like my build now, but just shorter. So like I'm a short like 12-year-old kid who like can't even do a push-up, trying to hold like a big AR, M16 Tipman gun, horrible idea. Had that for like a year. Then I bought a mini off eBay. Another horrible idea because it was a Gen 1 mini. So this was like before they worked out all the kinks. That thing never worked. And then I remember, this actually should have been one of my better memories was I remember mowing lawns in my neighborhood for probably like 8 months to afford a Geo3 when they had first come out. And I bought a Geo3. It was the Atlantic colorway, the blue and the gray, brand new off A&S gear. I was
What was that? $1,200? How much were they back then?
Yeah, 11 or 1,200 at the time. Now they're like 350 used on Facebook.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Brian gets them for 200 and sells them to you for 350.
Yeah, that's how the game goes. I wish I got them that cheap. Sometimes I do, but yeah, that was definitely my big kid gun, or my first big kid gun. Yeah, I was super proud of that because just because it took me so long to save up to get it. I was like 13, 14 at the time, and I was like super stoked when I got it.
Dude, 8 months of mowing lawns, dude. You put in the work. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be honest, like, the only reason it took 8 months is because, like, I didn't really try hard enough to find jobs. Like, because you have to understand, like, it does not take that long mowing lawns to save up $1,200. Like, if you really put the effort in, I feel like any kid that age could do it like a month or two. I did it in 8 months because I don't even remember.
1 a week.
Yeah, I was doing like 1 lawn a week, and I was probably blowing cash at like fucking Wawa and shit, like every other like 13, 14-year-old kid. So
right.
But that was definitely something I was proud of. And that felt good to like get something and be like, wow, like this was expensive, and I like saved up for it and I earned it. You know what I mean?
Right. But cool, man. So yeah, like I said, we're getting to the end. So yeah, plug all your sponsors and all do is that help you do what you do, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even start with the team, I guess. Shout out to ProShar, shout out to Vulcan, shout out to Virtue. I'm probably missing some. Shout out to Dizana, shout out to Paintball Exchange. I'm definitely missing some, so I apologize if you guys are watching this. I don't really have any like personal sponsorships, but again, like shout out to like PBX. Shout out to everybody who supports me on the BST pages buying gear off me. I always appreciate that. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to TSXL. Shout out to the Overshot podcast. Yeah, I mean, this was an awesome experience. I probably rambled on way more than I should. Probably got through like half the questions that we were supposed to get through because I kept going off topic.
Dude,
dude, it was great.
This is how it is. This is life, dude. The bees are flying. The fucking questions are getting interrupted.
The moment this shit's over, I'm grabbing little swatter thing and I'm hunting. Like, I'm not going to sleep with this thing in my room because it's gonna.
Don't cut it off. I mean, yeah, dude.
Yeah. You see me running around my room just like smacking walls.
Dude,
get the paintball gun.
Real quick, I'll give you a little help here. You got any home fields you want to shout out?
Oh yeah, definitely. Shout out to like Apocalypse Paintball, Hampton, New Jersey. The owner Hector, he always takes great care of us. It's home, you know what I mean? It's probably where I spend most of my time besides my own home. It's an amazing field. Everybody there is family, so shout out to everybody there. They're definitely some of the people who support me. But yeah, definitely shout out to Apocalypse Paintball.
No problem, guys. So listen again. We want to thank Brian. I call him Blaze, but it's all good, dude. People call him my little brother and everything like that because we're both kind of a little bit on the weirder side. Both love paintball here.
Maybe a little bit.
Definitely hit up paintball.
He's definitely weirder than me, though.
Me, definitely, 100%, dude. So definitely hit out a Paintball Exchange. Definitely, subscribe, rate, review the podcast, and shout out to Dizana Sports again. And we'll see you guys out there. And thanks to all the boys for hanging out with us today. Peace out, guys.
Take it easy, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.